What up all? Notseen Ninja here with the comparison video. Today I'm going to be comparing the Ricoh Theta S versus the Samsung Gear 360. Two different VR cameras because we need to know which is best. I'm starting with the Ricoh. If you turn away from me, you'll see the actual camera. I can't be holding it because I'm recording this part with it. The specs on this camera, you got full HD, 1080p, 30 frames a second. Come on, guys. Photos, you're looking at 12 megapixel from each camera. It has 8 gigabyte internal battery, which lasts, in my experience, about 45 to 50 minutes worth of recording on full HD. You have time-lapse features, you have all that type of stuff. The recording might not be perfect on this particular model. It kind of fell 120 meters from a drone. So there are a couple little scuffs on the lens there, but it still works fine. So that's one thing that is definitely a pro of the Ricoh Theta is it lasts. It only hit a soccer field, so it's not like it hit a brick wall, but it fell 120 meters and survived. So let that be telling of its build quality. It feels hefty. It is very pocketable, which is very convenient for bringing it around with you. You just throw it in your pocket, you're good to go. As far as what I've seen online, teardown of it is pretty simple. There's just a bunch of screws, a little bit of glue you can get in there, switch the memory card, but you do have to tear the camera apart to do so. So that's definitely a frustrating thing to do. It works perfectly with iOS and Android. Tried both. The photos do look quite amazing. The video is definitely lacking a little, but the photos are quite amazing. And cats just want to be in the video because that's what cats do. It does real-time stitching, which is nice. So there's no need to post-process the video, which saves time. How good it does it, I mean, it has a slower processor in there, so it's not perfect, but it does a very good job, especially at the stitch lines. And that sums up the Ricoh Theta S. Now we're going to switch over. So that was the Ricoh Theta S. Now we're looking through the Samsung Gear 360. Just a note, I am definitely in the Samsung camp. I got the phone, the tablet, the watch, the VR headset, and now the Gear 360. So I'm a little biased because of their quality, but it's because of their quality that I love them. A brief rundown, because you can look up specs anywhere, of the Gear 360. You got 4K, you got 15 megapixel cameras on both sides, replaceable memory card, which is incredible, 128 gig limit, replaceable battery, which you could find for like $6-7 on eBay, as well as an external charger, which is very convenient. It works better with Samsung phones. You don't need a Samsung device to run it, but it definitely works better with a Samsung phone. If you have the S7, which I don't have, you could do the stitching in phone in 4K, and it actually will stabilize and level out a bit. I haven't got to experience that since I only have the S6, which only allows you to combine everything in 1080, which is kind of useless to me because we're in a 4K world. It is not pocketable. It's the size of and the shape of one of the old school Logitech webcams, which, unless you have big pockets like me, is a little bit more cumbersome to bring around. The video looks amazing, as you can see. Photos are good. I find them a little lacking. And the stitch lines are sometimes, you really do have to watch the stitch angle there. Anything within about 2 feet, it will be sliced, which is a problem, but it's just something that you have to learn. The microphone on it, a lot better. I'm speaking at the same volume. I haven't looked at this video yet, and I haven't looked at the video I'm recording right now, but I found, especially at concerts and that type of stuff, the microphones are just that much better on the Samsung Gear 360. All around, those are the general specs. I find it to be better waterproofed as well, which is definitely helpful. But editing the videos afterwards, you do have to combine. So unless you have a good processor, I happen to have the NVIDIA 980, very good video card, takes a little bit still. On my laptop it has a 650M NVIDIA, which is a little bit more cumbersome, and that's before I could throw it into Premiere. That's just to stitch it all together, so you do need a computer to do so instead of the Theta, which does it in camera. To do a little sum up here, in my experience, I have preferred the Samsung Gear 360. The Gear 360 I've only had for 2 months now. The Theta I have had since January, so 10 months. And I find the quality is no comparison. I do more video than photo. Photos do look really, really good with the Theta. I find the quality is a little bit better. Even at a lower megapixel, I find the quality to be better with the Theta. But the Samsung, you could do a lot more with it. Throw it into HDR, it's a lot better. The time lapse is a lot better. Just all the features that it does have for $50 more is a much better camera. The replaceable memory card, the replaceable battery, it's a huge savings, especially since these batteries do not last long. With the Samsung, you get about 60 minutes recording with a single battery. With the Theta, you get 45 to 50 minutes with a single battery. You have to be able to replace it. You have to be able to charge it on the fly. You can plug both of them in and charge it, but it's not the same, and it overheats, and that's a problem when you could just throw another battery in and you're still going. Same with the memory card. 8 gigabytes on the Theta is not enough. That only gives you about an hour recording at most, versus 128 gigs that you could throw into the Samsung. And if you're on the road, if you're doing a recording, you don't necessarily have time to throw it onto a computer. And with this, you have to plug it into a computer, versus the Samsung, take out the memory card, throw a new one in, you're recording. The price difference, it's $449 for the Theta, it's $499 for the Gear 360. We're talking Canadian dollars. The $50, it is a huge jump. The Theta, I find, even though the Samsung Gear 360 is a first generation product, the Theta is actually a second generation. This is the S. The original Theta was just called the Theta. They are not where they need to be yet, especially with the 4K. The video, it just isn't as good. The audio isn't as good. There's just too many things that are not as good. It's definitely more convenient. This goes in any pocket, but quality just isn't there. So my overall consensus is, the Gear 360. If you're going to get a 360 camera, if you want to make VR content, the Gear 360 is definitely the one that I would choose. As I transfer the footage from the Theta, I just wanted to mention the video quality will look a lot shittier with the initial part of the video when I was using the Ricoh Theta, only because this video that you're watching right now is in 4K. So I did have to upsample the Ricoh Theta to 4K from 1080, so it's actually double the size, quadruple if you go diagonal, but it's twice the size of what it originally was, so it might look a bit more pixelated. That wasn't intentional. That's just because I'm running on 4K. You're watching 4K. The other one does not do that. Judge how you will.